This is a handover video of the Rapido Dreamer D53. It's a little bit chilly, a little bit windy and a little bit rainy up here in the Highlands, so we're just going to put the van under cover. So let's start on the outside and we'll work our way around. So if I open the passenger door, first thing we usually show is a location of toolkit. So it's underneath the passenger seat, in there. That unlocks it. Best to pop this off, slides out, and your toolkit is in there. If I then move up to the side, this is the bonnet release. So bonnet release is just there. To open the bonnet, it's just right in the middle, right above the badge. So under the bonnet, once the bonnet catch is open, just a little bit there. Bonnet stay is up there. If I start at the left-hand side, so this is where your screen wash goes. Not the easiest access. This section does unclip, but to be honest, you're better getting the sort of flexible funnel filler to do it in there. It's much easier. The rest of the things we hope you won't need to touch very often. So is your coolant system, your hydraulics, oil goes in there. Dipstick to measure it is further right down, just that red bit there. If you are unlucky enough to have a flat battery in this vehicle, or you want to help somebody else, located just down here, you'll need a key to put it in and unpop it. I've done it already. This is a blade, so this is the positive connection to it. This is the negative. So you put positive on that one, put the negative on that one. Moving up to the driver's side, this is your water infill, so it's on there. So it's locked at the moment, so you would use the red key, goes in, unlock it, push it in, turn it anti-clockwise, and it pops out. On the passenger side rear, you'll find the inlet for the gas low system. Just undoes and pops out. We'll talk more about this when you're actually here with us, so we'll talk about that later on in the gas systems. Moving further up the van, this is where your toilet cassette is. So on the passenger side, I've unlocked it already, but unlocked with the same red key. To take the cassette out, lift that blue lever and pull. If there's any resistance, don't do it. That means the blade is still open on the inside. Take it out completely, undo the cap, empty it out by pressing the button until the air in behind it, put chemicals in, put it back in. When you put it back in, it should locate with quite a solid click. Moving further forward, we have got the exhaust for the boiler, so don't cover that up at all. It can sensors back pressure on it and lock out. And also we've got the 240 inlet for the electric hookup. We always say is hook the van up first, then go and switch on the power or plug it into the socket. Just finishing off on the outside, just behind the passenger door, this is where the fuel goes, so diesel unlocks with the ignition key. Gas locker is located to the rear of the vehicle, so if you open the back doors, gas locker is in there. Two catches, just undo both catches, one at the top, one at the bottom, and two gas bottles is in there. When using the gas, it should be on, so that little bit there, we'll turn it on. Same with the one right in the back. Just going to show you where the gas isolation valves are. So they're to the rear of the van, so if we go inside the van, it's going to be a little bit dark down here. I've moved some of the bits of the bed off already, so for ease of use, I'm going to use the big hatch. So this lifts and comes off. Underneath here, there's a finger hold there. Lift that, and we have isolation valves in there. Water tank, just for maintenance purposes, is in the other side, so it's in there. It shouldn't really need to do anything to that. It's just access for to change pump, that kind of things, should you need to. To turn gas on or to ignite the hob, you push button down, turn it, you hear the gas coming out, and press the igniter. Hold it down for a few seconds, then release it and the flame should stay lit. When you turn the gas off, leave it to cool down for a while before closing the lid. Likewise, for the oven and the grill, if you turn it to on, hold it in for a second, press the igniter, keep it in until a few seconds and then release, and it should stay lit. For the water side, in winter drain down and draining down the water from the vehicle, there's drains located. So this is the fridge, just to the right of the fridge. Down there, you'll see there's a little finger hole. Lift the hatch, and in there you've got a red toggle and a grey toggle. The red one, if you open it by putting it vertically, it empties out the water and will leave 50% of the water in the tank. The grey one, if you open that, it empties out all the tank from the system. So winter time, open both of them, and also open the frost protection valve in the boiler and run the pump for a short time. Location of the boiler, leisure battery, and also the frost protection valve I was talking about is under the rear seats, so under the travel seats, the passenger seats at the back. So if you lift the cushions off, lift the wooden support off, underneath this is what you'll see. So this is the boiler, that is the leisure battery, but this is the frost protection valve. So it's got a little toggle that should be across the valve. In cold weather, if you're not using the van and temperature drops, it can pop. I'll show you what it would look like and sound like. That's the water coming out. To reset it, put it back across and press the button in at the front. For your trip switches and RCD trip meters, fuses, etc., location is under the table. So under the table you will find a hatch. If you lift the hatch up, so your fuses are on this side, your RCD trips are there. So it should always be in the forward position, and you can test them with a test button in the top. Controls for the fridge are inside the door. So we've got power on just now. I have it set on electric. On off is there. You can select what power source you're using. So it's on electric just now. We're on hookup, we're plugged in. If I wanted to switch to gas, I press switch to gas. You'd hear it clicking a few times. You'd hear it ignite, and if that stays lit solid, you know there's no problem and it's running on gas. If the van or engine was running, we could press that and it would run an alternator. If you press auto, it will do what it thinks the cleverest thing. So if you're on electric hookup, it will use hookup first of all. If you disconnected, it would switch to gas. If you started the engine, it would switch to running on battery on the alternator. Temperature control is up and down on there. And if there is a warning, it will indicate it there. So for example, you're running on gas, but the gas has run out or it's not ignited, you will get a warning up here. This is your main control panel, located above the habitation door, the sliding door. To switch this panel on, press that button there. First of all, it will show you that it's on in voltage. It's going to show you it's on there, but also show you that we're plugged in to electric hookup, and it'll also show you it's charging both batteries, both leisure and vehicle. You can test the voltage by pressing that, so it'll show you the vehicle voltage. It'll also show you the leisure voltage, so both are healthy. Switch on auxiliary systems, so 12-volt systems inside the van, press auxiliary. It will light up. Your pump is that one there. Press that, you hear it running, and it'll pressurise the system. Switch it off for the moment. Outside light is that one. Inside lights is that one. That's lights on. You need to switch on the main panel before you can switch on the trim panel, which is located to the left of that. Always switch on the main panel before you switch on the tuba panel, which is located to the left of the main panel. To wake it up, press that button there. First thing I usually do is see what energy source I'm using. So this wheel will go left and right. So I'm going to go to right and press on there. This says we're on electric 2. You've got options to source what power you're using. So you've got gas, you've got mix 1, which will mix gas and electric 1. You've got mix 2, which will mix gas and electric 2, which I'll talk about in a second. You've got electric 1 and electric 2. Electric 1 takes 900 watts from the socket you're plugged into on the site. electric 2 takes 1800 watts. So it's a really old site, unusual these days, and it trips off on electric 2. You're drawing too much power if you switch it down to electric 1, or same for mix 1 or mix 2. So let's select electric 2, press on there. If I go back across to the symbol of the motorhome or camper van, it's flashing just now. This is your heating system. So if I press on there, it's off at the moment. Just set the temperature that you want. So let's set it to 20 degrees. Press it, that will start flashing, and you'll have a little flame at the top. The flame doesn't mean it's running on gas, it just means that's heating. Let's turn on the hot water. Next one across is hot water, which is that symbol. Press that, it's off just now. You've got the option of eco, you've got hot, and you've got boost. So let's just put it on eco for the sake of doing handover for you. So press that, that's on eco, so now heating both the heating and the hot water. That is energy source, so we know that one. This is going to be your fan, so you can have it on eco, which is really quite quiet. So night time, if you're leaving the heating on, it'll be quiet on that. You can have it on high, which will just change fans on there, and it just speeds up the airflow going around the van. Let's bring that back to eco, just so it quietens down. Next one down, you can start clock, etc. on there. Set timers. Back a step is just that button there. Next one is for settings to set the clock, the date, etc. Next one, if you press that, is you can select temperature, sort of a centigrade or Fahrenheit. You can select the brightness. You can select 12-hour, 24-hour. If at any point you do have an error code coming up and you need to reset the system, if you go to the bottom right and scroll to reset, press it and leave it for about, I would say, at least 5 minutes. It will go through the system and reset the factory settings. Sometimes that cures a problem. Symbol there just shows we're on hookup. So it shows both on this panel and on the main panel. But nice simple system. To switch things off, just do it in reverse. So press it to wake it up. So we want to switch off heating, for example. Press that, turn it down to off. That's heating off. Same for hot water. Press that, turn it to off. That's both systems off. Shut the panel down, press and hold it. It will come up and say off on the screen. Then it will shut down. When draining your system down for winter time, we recommend opening both the drain valves with the red and the grey, opening the frost protection valve, and also open the taps too. So it lets air in behind the system to let any water out. Also recommend running the pump for a short time just to get any air out of the system and any water out of the system as much as possible. Talked about a blade on the toilet system. So just to show you what we mean by a blade. So if I lift up that, the blade I'm talking about is here. So leave it on there. So to open it, so it's closed at the moment. If I open it, that's in open position. Flush is just here. You hear the pump running. To close it, just on there. That was a very quick guide on the main systems of your new van. We hope you enjoy it and have many happy adventures, and we thank you for choosing Highland Camper Vans.